All right, so tonight's lesson is going to be about importing PDFs, and Michelle's going to show you how to do this. But I just wanted to stress like just a just to give you guys an idea what the main difference between a vector PDF file and a non-vector PDF. So if you look over here, if you look at the top, right here, and both images look the same when they're very, very small, okay? But when you hit the plus button on a PDF and you increase that size, a vectored file should not be blurry. So as you can see, this right here is basically, a JPEG or a BMP, a bitmap, and this over here is an actual true vector. And you can do this with any PDF, see what is a vector and what isn't. And I'll bring this in here. This is a little Army manual, but as you zoom in, you can see how crisp and clear those letters are. So that means those letters are vectors. Okay, it's not a little image. So that is a basic down and dirty on what a vectored file is compared to a raster burn. And so that's that on the vectored and rastered, and we're going to go ahead and turn it over to Michelle, and I'm going to monitor the questions that you guys have as she's going along, and I'm going to go ahead and turn the show over to her. So if Michelle, you're ready, you can go ahead and share your desktop, and I will make your screen the main screen.
Okay, I'm in Make the Cut. Can you see it?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay. All right, what I'm going to do is go to the PDF, and I have a PDF saved on my computer, and I'm going to click on it and open it and bring it in. Okay.
Now, Michelle, where did you get this PDF at?
This I got, sorry. Okay, if you go to vectorfree.com/vector design pack, okay, that's the PDF that I'm using.
Alrighty.
And then if you just go down here to download, and then you could save it to your desktop. Okay.
So it looks like this PDF has lots of stuff.
There's a lot of images on this PDF.
Yeah.
When you bring it in, it's only a page one. There's only one page to it.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a split. Okay. And
so
then
just did a split, and it.
I just did a split.
Okay.
And then what I'm going to do is remove this background right here. So you can see it's separating.
Okay.
And I'm just going to delete it. Okay. Now the image, all the images are still grouped together. So we need to still split them so we can use them. Okay. And then once you split them, as you can see, they're still, they still need to be joined together. So I'm just going to select and then I'm going to join them down here. If you click this icon, join. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is take that image and I'm going to put it on its own layer. And if you click right here, selection to layer. And then I'm also going to lock it. Click the lock button right there so I don't move it. And I'm going to do that with a couple of the images. I'm going to take that one and move it to its own layer. Lock it. And I'm going to select the heart here. And I'm going to do a join. That's right there. Again, I'm going to move that to its own layer.
Michelle, I think you selected a star in that as well. I didn't know if you wanted that or
Oh,
not.
did I? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back. Control Z to go back. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with the flower. This is sort of from last week's lesson about working with shapes and creating new shapes. I'm going to select this here, the flower, and I'm going to create a new page. First, I'm going to do a copy, and I'm going to go up to here, and I'm going to click here, and I'll just type in flower for the page, and then click add, and then I'll paste in place. Okay, then I'm going to resize it larger. Okay, and then I'm going to do a shadow, and I'm going to take blackout off. Okay, and the shadow I'm going to leave it at rounded. There's rounded, mitered, and beveled. So I'm going to leave it on the rounded setting, and we'll leave it at the 18, and then I'm going to hit accept. Okay, and then I'm going to duplicate this layer here, and I'll do a copy, and I'm going to create a new layer and click the plus sign right here. That creates a new layer, and then I'm going to paste in place. Okay, and I'm going to lock this bottom layer right here. I'm going to click on the lock to lock it. Okay, and I'm going to select all, and then I'm going to come down here again, and I'm going to click on join. Okay, and that created a little bit of a lacy flower.
That's kind of cool.
It is. It's pretty nice. And then if you see, I have an empty layer right here.
Yep.
And what you could do to get rid of that is you just click on the garbage can, and that will delete the empty layers. Okay. And now I'm going to create another layer. Excuse me, I'm going to create another shadow. Okay.
How'd you get the shadow? Was that a short key that you were used, or?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I used Control H.
Control H.
And I'm going to create a shadow. I'm going to, again, leave it at rounded, and I'm going to leave it at 1800. And the blackout I'm going to also leave unchecked for now, and then accept. Okay, so now as you can see, we have three different images. And then what I'm going to do is lock these two here, these two layers here. I'm going to unlock the bottom layer. I'm going to select it, and I'm going to do another shadow. This time I'm going to check the blackout, and as you can see, that made a blackout shadow of this layer right here. And then I'm going to click accept. And do the same with this one. I'll rotate that one. Let me stack these. So now if you cut these out in your paper, you can take just these 2 layers, and you could actually either make 4 layers, do 2 of each, and then you could, in the center, you could add a button. You can join them together with either any kind of embellishment that you want to stick in the middle. And this one at the top, this would be a good idea if you like to cut vellum. This would be pretty if you cut this out in vellum. It would give it a lacy effect. And then the bottom you can just cut out in your cardstock. And again, you can add a button here in the center. And that's layer and you could even layer these two. You could layer all 4 of these layers together, and stack them individually, and you'd have a really pretty flower.
Looks very cool. So we went from importing a PDF, and then we isolated the shapes that we wanted by using the split and join, and then we brought it onto our own new page and made a unique design out of it using the shadow layers. Now I do see a quick question. If you could start like a new project or new page and bring in the PDF again.
Okay. And go up here.
And the question was, yep, PDF. All right, and they want to see that button that you used in order to. You said you used the split. Where's that button at?
Okay, it's down here. There it is. There's split.
Okay. So you use that first.
And then there's layer.
So you did a split and then a layer, or did you just use split?
You could do the layer first.
Okay.
And that will break the background from the PDF.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, the layer button breaks the it separates the background and the foreground. You'll always get 2 layers out of something whenever you use the layer button.
And then I just hit delete on the keyboard.
Yep, you hit delete, and then all those pieces right there now still stuck together.
They're still stuck together, correct.
Yep, and then in order to separate them, you'd have to use the split, and then go back in there and use
go down to split, and then it splits them. And now each piece is individual. See? Yep. So that's why when you select them,
then you have to go back.
Then you have to go back, and you'd have to go to join right here.
Yep. So right there, she's isolating the pieces that she needs, and then she hits the join button. Now I was wondering if you could go back to your other